We are live. Welcome to the Podcast Perplexium. Alex Soto, thank you for being my first guest. Very happy to have you on here.
When I heard you were doing a podcast, I said I have to be a part of it. I gotta join in and be privileged to be your first guy on there.
Hell yeah.
What's up?
So you're my coworker. I met you 3.5 years ago. That's when I moved to San Diego. You've been in San Diego your whole life, right?
I was born in Tijuana originally, and then we came over here in 1995. So I've been in San Diego since 95.
You love it?
Yeah, of course. I've left San Diego since. I've lived in Hawaii. I've lived in many different places around the world, and then now I've always come running back to San Diego. San Diego's the best spot.
Cool. So I think the reason why you and I became such fast friends is, I would say that, like me, you're also what they might call a Renaissance man. Kind of a man of many talents, a jack of all trades.
Yeah.
I wanna get into all the different talents that you have.
Okay.
But the first one, of course, off the top of my head, the first one on my mind has to be martial arts. Before I met you, our coworkers, when they found out that I trained jiu-jitsu, right away they said, you have to meet Alex Soto, because he fought in the UFC, and I don't actually know this for sure. I've only heard rumors of this. So tell me. So let's start with this.
Okay.
What got you into martial arts in the first place?
What got me into martial arts? Yeah, I get that question. I got that a lot, but I've always had a knack for fights. Like growing up, I would always get in fights and get into fist fights with little kids, right? Like when I was a little kid, I should say, not with little kids, but when I was a little kid, I remember fighting in Tijuana a lot with the neighborhoods, and then when we came to the U.S., there was always like a scruffle with some of the kids in the neighborhood because they didn't like the Mexicans coming in. And so I got into a fight with this one dude, and I remember I hit him so hard, his head, like half of his head was just like exploded. I was like, damn, man. I was like, wow, I'm pretty good at this stuff, right? But it always kind of like a little seed that I've always had, that I've had like a little talent for fighting. And I was okay with it. It felt natural with it, Mm-hmm. And then when I was in the Army, we would put on boxing gloves and just beat each other up with them. And I was good back then too. I was hanging, holding my own with those guys. So I always had it. And then I was getting older and older. And then I've always been very competitive my whole life. So I just played a lot of sports too. So I'm always very competitive. And so what ended up finally doing it was gas prices.
Really?
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Wait, explain.
Okay. So in 2008, like the economy collapsed. I don't know, but right before that, the gas prices were crazy, just like we're having it right now. Like I always have the indicator that shit's gonna hit the fan with the economy when gas prices start going out of control, which is what we're seeing right now. What I would do is I couldn't afford it. I was a 20-year-old kid running around going to college, and I was like, I need to fucking fill up my gas tank. So one of the things I would do is I'd travel down to Tijuana from San Diego after work, and I would fill up my gas tank down there. And at the time, my brother Eric, who was like a BMX guy, and that's what he does for a living. He does all the BMX stunts. And so he was living down in Tijuana, and he goes, Alex, who's also very competitive, just like me in sports. And he calls me, dude, you gotta come over here and you gotta train at this gym. I have this friend of mine named Raul, and you should come train MMA with us. And I was like, oh, okay, all right. So every time I would fill up, once a week, I would go down there and I would train with the guys. And sure enough, I started falling in love with boxing, jiu-jitsu. I started learning jiu-jitsu for the first time over there. And it was just boom. I was just like, this is amazing. I love this shit. I'm gonna be doing this forever.
Very cool.
Yeah. And that's how I got into mixed martial arts.
Nice. So how would you describe your style of fighting, of mixed martial arts fighting?
My style would be probably like very go with the flow. Like people would take me down, like they think they have a takedown on me, and I would roll right out of it. Right? It was all like always going using my opponents like power towards against them. So whatever they do, like you hear this a lot from my coaches, that I would just spin out of trouble, scrambler. Like I scrap, I'll throw down, I'll throw hands down and stuff. But when it comes down to it, it was always like going with the flow.
Would you say that you're more of a improvisational fighter?
Yeah, I think that's a great way to point it out. Yeah, I would say I'm more of an improv.
More jazz than classical.
Hey, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I had a lacrosse coach that would analyze lacrosse athletes that way. Oh, this is a more structured
right. Yeah.
player.
Yeah, and I was always been very naturally gifted at fighting. So things to me came really hard for other people were like just for me, I could just pick it up.
Very good. Okay, so you did have a fight in the UFC.
Yeah, I had a couple.
You had a few.
Yeah.
Okay. When? How long ago?
That was a long time ago. 2011. That's when I started. When I got into the UFC. Yeah.
Do you remember them?
Yeah, of course I do. It's so funny. It's such a staple when people when they look at my career. I was like, yeah, I fought twice in the UFC. I got knocked out once, and then I had a full-on brawl on my second one, which I got bonuses for both of them, for fighting. So for putting up a good fight and stuff. But yeah, man, when you're fighting in the highest of the highest teams with the highest fucking guys, yeah, it's fucking hard, man. It's one of the hardest thing to do is to fucking get a W in the UFC. That's fucking tough, and I can tell you that I did everything that I could in my ability to do it, and I just fucking couldn't do it because those guys, I fought 2 of the top 10 guys in the UFC at the time.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I think that's so cool about you, and that's one of the first things that comes to my mind when I think Alex Soto, and I think the same thing with the people that we work with. It's just one of those odd, interesting facts about you.
Yeah.
Okay, so for the listeners who might be tuning in, Alex suggested that we get some drinks. This is the first episode, first recording, and so we're christening the podcast.
Yes, finally.
Finally.
I've been waiting for like an hour for this.
Truth be told, I really don't drink, but he said get something. So about 2 hours before the start of the podcast, I swung by a liquor store and I just grabbed the most interesting thing that seemed appealing to me. I ended up getting what this is San Diego Screwball peanut butter whiskey, and Alex, tell me what do you think so far?
I'm not a whiskey drinker, so it'll be my first time drinking whiskey in a fucking plastic thing.
Okay, so we might not even like this, but we're gonna try it. Let's go for it.
All right, you're the.
Okay.
You do it. Do your thing.
All right. While I pour these, tell me about the pet crow.
It's stupid. Okay, so there I was. No shit. I was hanging out with the family, and I have this in my backyard. There's this big tree. You never been to my house, huh?
Nope.
Okay, I gotta invite you over. So
Hey.
there's this big giant ficus tree.
Cheers.
Yes,
Cheers,
yes,
brother.
yes. So there's this big ficus tree, right?
Okay,
You know what that is?
No.
It's a big Chinese, big giant tree in the backyard. Massive. You'll see them a lot here on the streets. Okay.
I like that.
You can taste the peanut butter, man.
I like that a lot, actually. Not bad.
Not bad.
Okay,
Well,
so
you just, how'd you even taste it? You just down that thing.
I got a little scent of the peanut butter. Okay, so Alex has a pet crow, and I want to hear, how did you have this happen?
All right. Like many things in my life, right? Every adventure that I've had, I've always had a vision for it, right? And so I've been telling my wife since we bought the place, it's like, we're going to, one of these days, there's going to be a hawk or a crow, a baby hawk or crow that's going to come down that tree, and we're going to have to take care of it and nurse it back to health. Well, a few weeks ago, that exact same happened with a crow. A little baby crow was down there, beak was broken, like the head was bleeding.
Oh, you rescued it.
I rescued the crow, man. I don't just take it from the mother. So I grabbed the crow and I I let it sit there for a few days. I'm probably gonna get a lot of trouble for this.
Why would you get in trouble for this?
I don't know. It's a lot of animal people out there.
I see what you mean, like the San Diego Humane Society.
Yes,
I got
exactly.
you.
Like those people. Fucking guys. All right. So anyway, so I'm like, okay, well, we watch it. We watch the baby, come up and then see if the mom would take care of it, but the mom never came. She would scream and do a lot of caws, but never came. And so I would go and feed it, and I went online and figured out how to feed them. You give them dog food, they eat dog food, and she eats dog food. And now every time I come home, she hears my car, she flies to the porch, and she waits for me to come home.
So do you think that she'll be there tonight?
No, at nighttime they roost. I don't know. Nobody knows where she goes. We always go like, where did she go? And I try to wait for the sun to go down because that's when they fly off. To this day, I don't know where she goes. I think she goes up. There's a lot of trees around the neighborhood, so I think she just has one that she goes to.
Does it speak to you?
Yeah, we talk. We have all crazy conversations. You don't have a pet crow?
I didn't even know that crows could make for good pets.
They're the smartest animal.
Well, that makes sense.
In the aviary.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Avian.
Avian. There we go. In the avian kingdom, they're the smartest bird. The American crow.
Because they're like ravens, right?
They are part of the corvids. Yes.
Corvids. That's
Thank
it.
you. Yes.
Okay. Cool.
That was an easy one.
Cross that off the list. Okay, so we were talking a little bit earlier about being a martial artist.
Yes, we were. Back to the sensei.
Yeah. So do you still partake in the martial arts practices?
Not so much anymore. One of the things that I do that I'm still involved in the industry is that I get to promote fights. Specifically Muay Thai fights. Myself, my former coach, and a former training partner of mine have gone together and built this whole new promotion for Muay Thai here in San Diego because we got together and we said, hey, there's a lot of MMA promotions, a lot of boxing promotions here in San Diego, but there's not a lot of Muay Thai. And if you go to an MMA gym here or just any like boxing or traditional gym here, that has the boxing, Muay Thai, and Jiu-Jitsu. They offer Muay Thai, so it's like there's a big Muay Thai community, and very much like the Jiu-Jitsu community, it's a very unique type of niche in the Muay Thai industry. So we decided to jump in there, and my former training partner Andy Murad, who's also an awesome Muay Thai fighter himself and became a champion in Muay Thai. We've all got together and we've now do the promotions. Another thing I do is I also get to promote mixed martial arts with the broadcasting. So I get to go and travel to Mexico and cover all the Latin American fights from some of the best promotions in Mexico. So that's another thing that I get to I get to do for fun. I mean, they're like little passion projects, each one of these,
Awesome. So how frequently do you get to travel to Mexico to do this?
I would say once every other month. I'm traveling to, next week I'll be going to Puebla for Luke's 23. And that's going to be a great matchup. Two former UFC fighters going after each other, getting it. It's going to be awesome. And then the week after that, I think the following month I'll be going to Tijuana, my old stomping grounds, doing for the following Luke's event. And then I also have my event in July. So it's going to be pretty packed this summer.
Your event in July?
My event in July versus Muay Thai. And then I also have the Luke's event. It's called LUX, Luke's
Gotcha.
Luke's Fight League, and that's going to be in Tijuana next month. But next week, we're going to Puebla, just south of Mexico City, for 3 days, and it's going to be a blast.
Very cool.
Boom, check it out.
Do you want more of this peanut butter whiskey?
Yeah, hit me up with another one.
I'll do one more.
Top me off.
I'll do one more too.
You don't have to like down it, man. Just take a little sip.
One sip at a time?
Yeah, man. You ain't gonna get lucky with me, dude. I'll tell you that.
Do you have a favorite place in Mexico that you like to go?
I love going to Mexico City. Mexico City is my favorite place so far.
Is that, if I asked you what your favorite place in the world is that, would you have a different place?
Yeah, I would say Hawaii.
Hawaii?
Yeah, Hawaii.
These are two places I haven't been to yet.
You haven't been there?
Neither. Not
Damn.
Mexico City nor Hawaii.
So there's 3 places that I like really love, and I would say Hawaii is one of them. Cancun is another place that I really love with all my heart. Like I went there when I was a kid and I saw the pyramids of Chichen Itza for the first time, and it just forever changed my love for history, my like love for my culture. You know, just wow, just thinking how they built that and imagining them being there. I could really immerse myself in those stuff. And when I was in Mexico City, same thing. Big pyramids out there. It's beautiful. The culture, the food. Man. Yeah. So Mexico City, Cancun, and Hawaii are one of my favorite places.
I've been to Cancun before. I loved it.
Oh yeah, where'd you go?
Oh, what did we do? I don't even remember. we stayed in a hotel. It was rainy the whole time, but I loved it. We had really good food. I remember having fresh ceviche.
Oh, nice.
And I loved it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That was when I was maybe 7 years old.
Yeah. Well, listen. The reason those two, well, Cancun is like one of my favorite places because I went there when I was a child and I went there with my family. It was fantastic. Like all 7 of us went there, the whole family, and it was just like a beautiful vacation that I would never forget. But Hawaii, it's also one of my favorite spots because that's where I went to my first duty station when I was in the Army. So when I was in boot camp, there was 50 guys in a platoon, right? Mm-hmm. Like you go in a platoon, you go to boot camp and you're assigned a platoon, and there's like 50 guys in a platoon, right? Mm-hmm. So when I joined, this was 2002, okay? So like right after 9/11. So there's like a ton of soldiers going in at the time. So you would sign your contract to join the Army, and you would sign it like blank, like we're at the needs of the Army. Okay, sign it up. And I wanted to be infantry. That's what I wanted to do. So anyway, so we went in, and so I signed a blank contract where you didn't know where we were going. Like there was no. Usually when you join the military, you're assigned a job and a location where you're going to go, and you get to pick and you select the spot. When in my platoon, in my boot camp platoon, after the end of boot camp, after like 16 weeks or whatever that was, they go, okay, all right, we're going to hand everybody orders to go to their duty stations. And everybody was getting New York. And I was like, no, I'm gonna freeze to death in New York. I can't make it in New York. Everybody got to New York. And when except for me and 6 other guys in the platoon, we all got to go to Hawaii.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I would say you lucked out.
100%, dude.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. So anyways, I spent my youth as an adult there, and it's just an incredible place. And so my wife and I now go there. You know, we try to go there, once every a couple of years, just to just kind of like, because we both had our young lives out there, and a lot of hopes and dreams in Hawaii. Dude, love Hawaii.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Anyway, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. I don't care.
Very good.
All right.
So we're almost at 20 minutes of the first episode ever.
You've been just yapping your mouth this whole time.
Let's do a check-in. How are you feeling so far?
I'm feeling great. Finally I got some whiskey.
Yeah, I like this.
It's good.
I didn't think I would like it as much as I do, but
What about you? How are you doing? This is your first episode. Are you feeling relaxed? Are you feeling good? Are you nervous?
At the start of the podcast, I was feeling a little bit uneasy.
Wow.
Excited, of course.
Yeah.
I've been waiting to do this for a long time. Talking and dreaming about starting a podcast for at least half a year, at least 6 months. So was a little emotional. I think that's what it was. Just
you were emotional?
I had some emotions. I think that's what the uneasiness was stemming from.
Here we go.
But now that we're about 20 minutes in,
You're more chill.
I'm settling
good.
down a bit. Yeah.
Good. Okay. Good.
Feeling better.
Yeah, it should become natural. You do this all the time. You just talk to people all the time.
Definitely. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So let's go a little further. Why don't we?
Oh, this is the random questions now?
Well, it's all right. It's all kind of sporadic
Sure.
for now.
Okay.
Before we jump into more random tangent questions, let's do a little bit more about martial arts, because this is a big topic for me.
Yeah. And you just got introduced to martial arts, right? I mean, you're relatively new to this stuff, right?
Well, so for me, I'm mostly a jiu-jitsu guy. I've been doing jiu-jitsu since about 2016.
Okay.
I did Muay Thai for...
Okay. See, I didn't know this.
Oh, you didn't know that?
I didn't know that. Let's get you on the versus fight card.
Okay, so here's the thing, though. I did Muay Thai for 3 years, but I never actually did live sparring with anyone.
What?
Yeah, so...
You did it on the mirror or what?
So what we would do was, in a class, we would pair up with someone. One person would have gloves on, one person would hold the mitts, and then we would practice combinations, right? So my first year was all about learning the fundamentals of striking, fundamentals of boxing, right? How to properly throw a jab, cross, and a hook, how to protect your face.
Yeah.
And then, of course, with Muay Thai, you also have your knees and your roundhouse kicks and your elbows. Right. It's the art. That's why they call it the art of the 8 limbs, right?
Yeah.
So, really, my time learning Muay Thai was about becoming proficient in the fundamentals of striking, but we never would actually do live sparring. We would never actually try to fight each other. Yeah, so...
Okay. Yeah, you went to like a traditional gym. You know, like the reason probably that happened was because you went to a gym where they want their members to come back, right? Like usually not everybody wants to get punched in their face. So that's a very unique type of person that doesn't mind getting an elbow and a knee across their face, you know? So, so you went to a gym that, you know, taught the basics of Muay Thai. It's cool.
Yeah, and I think learning fundamental pad work, I think you can get really good at striking, but when it comes to being able to dodge, when it comes to having fight IQ, right? When it comes to having spatial awareness, obviously those elements you're gonna miss, but I think you can get really sharp when it comes to, like, so if you have one person holding mitts and one person with gloves, and if you do jab, cross, hook, cross, if you do that for a year and you just alternate back and forth, I mean, I think that can take you really far. Alone, right? No. Okay, yeah, so
I disagree there.
So tell me.
I mean, there's nothing like getting punched in the face. I mean, if you're not fucking training to getting punched in the face, your jab, cross, hook ain't gonna go anywhere.
Okay,
as soon as you feel that fucking right hand across your face.
It goes back to the Mike Tyson quote, right? Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face.
Yeah, if you have absolutely zero experience of holding your own against somebody punching your back, that shit's gonna go out the window. You're gonna get fucked up.
Okay. All right. Well,
with all due respect.
All right. Disregard what I said.
Anyway, yeah. But you were saying.
So what about jiu-jitsu?
What about jiu-jitsu?
Yeah. When did you start that?
When I was in Tijuana, I started training with Raul Arvizo, who's like the head trainer down in Tijuana. He's a black belt under. His name is Dean Lister.
Okay. So your early jiu-jitsu days.
Yes.
Was from the Dean Lister lineage.
Yes, exactly. And it's like the fundamentals there were, especially you go down to Tijuana right now, you go jiu-jitsu. I should probably take you one day.
I'd love to go.
They'd love to go and roll with you.
I would love to check it out.
So yeah, I haven't been there in years now, but they're really cool, and I know a lot of the fighters because I still travel with them to go to the events and stuff. But yeah, very good fundamentals in jiu-jitsu, especially like when it's designed for mixed martial arts. So they're really good at throwing up real sneaky triangles, really sneaky arm bars, really good control, like really good like Brazilian stuff. So I was training there, and then I transferred over and I started doing like my jiu-jitsu journey, if you will. I went over to the MMA gym. Long story short, but what ended up happening was I was getting really good gas, right? Mm-hmm. Really cheap in Tijuana. Then my car got stolen.
Oh no.
It was my fault. It was completely my fault. Like I drove a stick Jeep Wrangler with like a soft top, and it was stick shift, right? So somebody could just jump in and fucking pop it in neutral and just take it home. So my fucking Jeep got stolen. And after that I was like, so now I'm fucking broke. I don't have a fucking car. And I'm like, what the fuck am I gonna do now? Like, fuck, man. Like, I'm barely making ends meet at the time. What's the statute of limitations for insurance fraud?
Oh, I have no idea.
I don't know. So that's my story for another time. Anyway, so after that, I ended up going to with at the time it was called Undisputed, and my jiu-jitsu coach was Barrett Yoshida.
Okay.
Who's very fucking famous here in San Diego.
He's the man.
He's the man, dude. And so he would always do the the crucifix choke on me all the time, and that to this day, every time I see his Instagram post, it's always him doing that same fucking thing, and I'm like, oh my gosh, he's been doing that for like 20 years, It's just murder. And I remember specifically with Barrett, the first time I met him, I was like, oh, and this is our jiu-jitsu coach, Barrett Yoshida. And I walked over, and he was like in between classes, and he was hitting his forearm up against a tire. Boom.
Oh, to make it strong.
Like a big, those big CrossFit tires that they flip over.
Yeah.
Boom. Just boom. Boom. And I was like, oh. And he goes, oh, hello. Hi, because he's very intimidating. You ever take one of his classes? He's a very intimidating.
I've met him.
Yeah, instructor. So I was training under him for a long time, and then we ended up splitting. Our gym ended up splitting. Like the business owners got into a big argument, and there was a big split in it. And so I went with my MMA coaches, Manolo Hernandez, the Hurricane. I don't know if you know him.
I know that guy.
Team Hurricane, awesome. So
over at 10th Planet.
That's where I was heading out to. So after that, we went and so we started our own gym. It was called San Diego Combat Academy.
You and Manny? Well,
me, Manny, and the other business owner that broke apart.
Right, gotcha.
So we all got together and we built San Diego Combat Academy, along with, of course, a group of other people. Liz Carmouche was also in there. We were really training. Wael Watson was another fighter that we were. It was really. I have a picture of us four, basically just going, this is how we do this, like it was really cool, man. And we're all holding like a sign and stuff. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so we built that whole. It was literally the Manolo, Wael Watson, Liz Carmouche. There was a bunch of other guys that were there. I'm not mentioning them right now, but we all went there all by ourselves and just decided to do it and go for it. And it was during that time frame. Oh, who was there? Gazi was my jiu-jitsu instructor at that time.
Okay.
I don't know if you know Gazi.
No.
She's a girl that like was the first Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belt here in the States. She's like Iranian descent, something like that. But her last name's Gazi, and she was around here for a little bit, and she was my jiu-jitsu instructor for during that time period.
Cool.
Yeah, and then Boogie came down.
Yeah.
Like soon afterwards, and Boogie, man, let me tell you, dude, like it was really cool training with him.
Just for the listeners, Boogie is Richie Martinez, right? One of the Martinez brothers from Eddie Bravo, founder of 10 Planet.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, go on.
Yeah. So anyway, so Boogie had just started up, and he was like people knew that he like who he was kind of, but it wasn't like super famous yet, you know. And so we came up, and I would go to his 6 a.m. class, which to this day he does. Mm-hmm. He's always teaching at 6:30, and so I would go. It was like me and like 5 other people that would show up to the 6:30 class, you know. And so we would train, do the jiu-jitsu stuff. Then I would go to work, come back to the gym, and I would train with like my instructor with Landon Piercy, do my Muay Thai striking with him. Then I would do my boxing with Tiger Smalls, and then I would do my MMA with Manolo. I'll put it all together, and then do my jiu-jitsu again at night with Boogie. So I would do like all that every single day when I was training, man. It was a lot of fun. It was really cool. And then after that, I got a job where it required me to move to the Middle East. So I got deployed, if you will, if you say it, but just working as a contractor, got deployed to the Middle East in Bahrain. And it kind of halted. And kind of since then, I've been focusing more on the promotional side of things and not really training a lot of mixed martial arts since then. I've had kids since then. That's when I started my family.
Gotcha.
And just kind of pulled a little bit away from the training. You know?
Okay. Did you ever get a belt?
In what's it called?
No.
I never did gi, so
Yeah.
belts were never a thing, you know. So I got my belt from Ghazi, was like the last one who gave me my belt. So I think she gave me a blue belt when I was coming up.
You were a blue belt?
Yeah.
Very cool.
Not cool.
Yeah.
But I would roll with black belts and stuff, and do a lot of stuff with purple belt. Everybody does.
sure.
You know how it is.
For sure. You do leg locks, right?
Yeah.
Of course you do. You do heel hooks.
Yeah, we don't fuck around. We get the heel hooks, man.
Cool, man.
Here, give me some more.
Okay, let's do some more. I'll do one more as well. All right, so you're also a fellow musician.
Yeah.
Another thing we have in common.
Yeah.
So you play the trumpet, and you also play the French horn.
Yes.
Am I missing anything?
No, that's it.
That's it?
The piano. I'll dabble on the piano. I dab with the piano.
So which one was first?
The first one was the piano.
Okay, and was that your choice, or here? So when I was a kid, I took piano lessons, but I didn't want to. It was something that my parents had me do because and I think that was smart. I think that was a good decision because it's a great way to get your feet wet with learning how to read music, understanding the placement of the notes on the staff. But was this the same setup for you, or?
Oh man, it's so funny. So my music career, if you want to go there like that, but it started with, so my mom would drag me from the streets out of Tijuana, like when I would play. She'd come find me because, like, in Mexico, you play everywhere. I don't know how you grew up in New York or what, but it's similar.
All of the stories that you've been telling this whole time are so radically different in comparison to any other of my East Coast friends that I've grown up with. It's cool, but no, we're totally different.
Okay, so when I was in TJ, in Tijuana, like my mom would, when I was a kid, she would drive through the neighborhood, up and down the neighborhood to go and look for me. And she would kind of know where my areas were with my neighborhood friends. And so she would find me, pull me out of the, you know, out of the park or out of the soccer game or whatever we were doing, and put me into piano class, and fucking hated it. I hated it so much. I was like, fuck, I don't want to do this. I just want to play all day. But now, as you probably experience it now, being older, like you're thankful for that.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? You're like, oh my gosh, thanks so much. Because now I understand music and I get to enjoy myself. When I get home, I'll play some stuff on the piano, and like it's a great way to express yourself.
Definitely. I wish I stuck with it longer.
Right, exactly. But it's interesting because when I ended up joining, what was it? When we ended up like leaving Mexico, so we left Mexico, right? And when we migrated to the United States, we had lost everything, like the business, the family business, everything. We came over here with like a handful of hope and a pocket full of dreams. Straight up, one of those immigrant stories, man. And one of the things that happened during that transition, you know, I was like 11 years old, closer to 12, when that happened. My two older brothers who were 10 years older than me, they were going to college, right? So they ended up getting a full ride, both of them, to a school, to the University of Redlands. Full, everything paid. It's a private university. Everything was paid for because of their ability to play music. My brother Jorge played the violin, and my other brother Idan plays the cello. So they went over there, and like a light went on in my mom's head saying, okay, music is a way for my kids to have a bright future. That was it. Okay, guess what, kids? And so I have a brother that's older than me, and then it's me, and then my younger sister. So then they're like, okay, you guys have to fucking learn music, and music is the fucking key. This is it. This is the key. We're gonna fucking make it, and you guys are gonna go to school, and this is how you do it. Oh, so man, we were in. So I was in the band. I was in the jazz band, in middle school and high school. I was in the district orchestra, like where all like the talented musicians play from the school district. Then I was in the San Diego Youth Symphony. Like it was just like she just shoved music because that's all she knew, right? Like looking back now, it's like she just knew that music was a way to move on, right? Like get a better future. until I just snapped. I was like, Mom, that's it. I'm done. I'm not doing any fucking more music. So like 10th grade, I just finally just stopped. Dead. No more nothing. No more anything. But I was really good and I really enjoyed it. So even to this day, like today before coming over here, I jammed on my trumpet.
Oh,
random.
Oh,
just
wow.
By random coincidence today.
Oh, okay. So all the skill that you have today is carried over from the education that you received up until 10th grade. Like, so you stopped at 10th grade.
Yeah, stopped.
And so all of the knowledge that you have today is from that hard stop at 10th grade.
Yeah.
That is so cool, dude.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and I'm super grateful that my mom did her best to get her kids out into the world with music. So,
what a blessing.
Yeah, it really is.
And you were at the time, so in the 10th grade, you were playing both French horn and trumpet. Okay, so out of French horn and trumpet, which came first?
Trumpet. Yeah.
Did you already answer that?
Oh yeah. No, I did it.
Just making sure.
No, I did it. I started playing the trumpet, and that fucking thing was sick, dude.
So why the trumpet?
Because my two oldest brothers were string players.
Oh, okay. You want it to be different.
I just wanted to fucking be something obnoxious, because that's my whole life has been be the dick, just be obnoxious. And so the trumpet is the most obnoxious sound that you can try to. Looking back, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I put my family through those first couple of years, of just sounding like a fucking elephant.
I have to agree. I think the trumpet players in the orchestra in the back row causing mischief seem to always go with their character.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I agree.
Yeah. And then So then what inspired you to give the French horn a try?
I love the melodies that the French horns would play in orchestra and in the symphony. So I said, oh, you know what? I want to fucking make that sound. That sound is just badass. So I just went, one day, I just said, hey, at the end, you'll play the French horn. And, oh, okay, you want to try? I said, give me a fucking French horn. And I just decided to play it.
That's how I felt about my instrument too.
What is your instrument?
Oh, so I'm a bassoonist. I play the bassoon for people who may not know.
I want to play the bassoon. Like, who the fuck says that?
Yeah, exactly. But for me, it was the sound. I wanted to make the sound. I had no idea what the instrument looked like the first time I heard it, because for me, so I think I was about 3 years old.
Yeah.
And there's a Disney movie called Fantasia.
I love Fantasia.
You do? Okay, so...
no, I don't. Okay, I used to hate it as a kid. It was just fucking more music.
True. So, but when you're a kid, it's magical. When you see Mickey Mouse pick up the buckets of water with the wizard, right?
Yeah.
Come on, it's incredible.
No, I hated it. I'll be honest, it was like my least favorite Disney movie of all time. With all due respect.
What's your favorite Disney movie of all time?
My favorite one?
Yeah.
Aladdin. What's another good fucking badass one? The Lion King was pretty sick.
You don't like the Pixar movies?
No, I like the Pixar. You said, did you say Disney?
Movie? Those are Disney. Pixar.
Pixar is not.
Yeah.
It is. No.
Well, Pixar is sort of like a.
We're gonna get shot.
No.
There's a big difference. There's a big whole like.
There's
DreamWorks.
DreamWorks is different.
But Pixar's not. Is not.
Pixar and DreamWorks are two separate companies.
That doesn't make any
right?
sense. That doesn't make any sense.
It looks like Shrek, to the untrained eye, looks like it could be a Pixar movie, but it's DreamWorks.
Oh.
So Pixar is only certain ones, like Finding Nemo, Monsters Inc., The Incredibles, Toy Story. Those are Pixar, and those are Disney. Anyway.
Okay. Anyways, what about them?
I just went off on a tangent.
You did?
I just went on a random.
It's really interesting when people say Monsters Inc. When I was in high school, I also had a job, right? Because I had to fucking put some money on the table too. I had a telemarketing job. Hello, my name is Alex. I'm calling from Telenation. It's a consumer opinion company in Chicago. We're not selling anything at all, man. May I please speak to the male or female head of the household? You like that?
Pretty good.
So I used to do that, and so that was what that gave me enough money to buy my first car and put gas in the car.
Wow.
It was sick. But anyways, that job, when I think of that movie, Monsters Inc. They paid me to do a survey and give that to people. What do you think about monsters? And the monsters did this, and the monsters did that, and I would read them the whole script, and people would sit there for 45 minutes listening to me talk. It was crazy.
About Monsters Inc.
About Monsters Inc.
Amazing.
About a movie that's going to come out called Monsters Inc. What do you think? Would you be interested? Do you think it's awesome? Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
Super cool.
Yeah, so I knew all about the movie before it came out.
Did you see the Monsters University? Second one?
Oh, yeah, I did.
It was good.
It was good.
I liked it.
Yeah.
Alex, we're coming up on 45 minutes.
Damn, dude.
Are you good on time? Are you good to go a little further?
Good.
All right, let's keep it rolling.
Let's keep it rolling, dude. You're doing great, by the way.
Thank you.
You're an excellent hostess. You're doing a fantastic job.
Alex, thank you. First of all, thank you for being here. Thank you for being my first guest.
Kidding? The Bear Jew is doing a podcast? Of course I'm gonna join.
Yeah, I told Alex not to call me that on the podcast, but
after a couple of whiskey shots,
he had to do it.
I had to.
It's a little inside joke.
Anyways, but go ahead.
What movie is that from?
What is?
The Bear Jew.
Inglourious Bastards.
Yes.
It's a great movie, dude. I don't know the name of the actor. I know Brad Pitt's in it.
No, the director.
Oh, of course. That dude.
Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah.
What's your favorite Quentin Tarantino movie? This is a very important question.
Django Unchained is a good one. Pulp Fiction. Fuck, man. what's another good one? I want to see my favorite. My favorite. There's that one with that stewardess, which is like a drug dealer.
A stewardess.
You haven't seen it? It's sick.
Stewardess, and she's a drug dealer.
Jackie something. You haven't seen it?
Are you thinking of Kill Bill?
No. Jackie something or other. Fuck, what's her name?
Googling it.
Yeah, I have to.
All right.
Because it's such a good movie.
Let me see what other questions I see, guys. I wrote down
Here it is.
a few. Tried to be a little prepared.
Oh, dude, The Hateful Eight. Sick.
Oh, The Hateful Eight.
How fucking beautiful cinema was that?
That's the second most recent one. I think he did the one about LA in the 60s or the 70s. I like that one a lot.
Dude, they're yeah.
Right.
I mean, this guy is like, my wife and I are like in love with his style.
I love it too.
Yeah.
Alex, what's been the most terrifying moment of your life? What was the scariest moment of your life?
The most scariest moment of my life. Well, that shit happened just the other day.
Tell me.
Oh man. Okay, so there's been something wrong with my car for weeks now. And whenever you hear something, I mean, you know, dude, you should know this, right?
Oh, man, this is an auto incident.
Yeah, no, not an auto incident. But like the car is making a sound, like a grinding sound. It's like a and it's just driving me nuts. To this day, I haven't fixed it. So anyway, I'm thinking it's the transfer case is going bad because I go do a lot of off-roading. Or one of my U joints is fucked up, and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna take it to the shop and get it fixed. But anyways, I go to the shop, I drop it off, and then I go to work, right? Come back, I don't have a car. One of my buddies drives me home. And I'm like, okay, I'll just grab the skateboard since the car shop's just down the road. It's all downhill. I'll just take the skateboard. It's hot as hell right now in San Diego. I'll just coast it all the way down to the street.
Okay.
So I grab my kid's skateboard. You know, my kid's 8 years old, or you know, so it's not like a fancy skateboard. Put it on there, and I just go down the hill. Halfway down the hill, I realize I don't know how to skateboard. I'm not kidding, man. I'm flying down this fucking hill, and I start getting the wobbles. You ever done that on a skateboard when you're going down real fast, and the skateboard's just moving back and forth? So it's just going crazy, and I'm starting to freak out. The freak out of my heart rate is going up, going crazy up. I'm gonna eat shit. I'm fucking gonna die. And I'm blowing through a stop sign, right? And I'm like, I couldn't see both ways. I just couldn't, because if I looked, I'd lose my balance and I eat shit. So I'm going down this thing. I look both. I'm heading down. I'm spinning out, and all of a sudden, something in the back of my head says, "Hey, you need to calm down." So I fucking calmed down. And then I started doing this thing where I'm pointing my hand, it was weird. It was just like this. You've been snowboarding, obviously. You're from New York.
Skiing. I'm a cultured man.
Whatever that means.
I ski. Yeah.
So
I want to snowboard.
That's cool.
I'd like to snowboard.
No, that's cool. Skiing's cool.
Yeah.
I saw Dumb and Dumber. So I'm doing the left and right thing like you do in snowboard, which some guy taught me this years ago. And I started doing that, and it worked. I'm thinking I'm gonna eat shit, and then the wobble goes away, and then I get back, and I'm good, dude.
A near miss,
but I was fucking scared because I thought for sure I was gonna eat shit.
You were going fast, huh?
I was going pretty fast because I never skateboard.
Yeah,
I've never ever.
That was the first time. That was the first time you were on a skateboard.
No, I mean I've been on skateboards like in the backyard with the kids.
I gotcha, but not like that.
Not like on the streets going downhill.
I'm with you.
Yeah. Anyways, so what else we got there, Dylan?
Yeah. Let's go ahead and wrap up. Let's conclude first episode.
Thank God.
Alex, thank you again so much for coming on and being my first guest. I'm really happy that you were my first guest.
My pleasure.
Really grateful that you're in my life, and grateful that you've been part of my San Diego chapter thus far. really easy to talk to, great conversationalist, and more so easy for me to listen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fair to say that you did most of the talking, and I played more of the listener role, and that's what I want. That's kind of how I want this podcast to be. One thing I can't stand is podcasters who are constantly interrupting and stepping on the toes of their guest when they speak.
Yeah.
I see it all the time, and I'm going to try to make a point in future episodes to be a listener. But you've always been someone that it's just, we were fast friends, and just very easy to have conversations with. And again, I'm so grateful that you're here. Cheers.
Cheers.
And Alex, thanks again, man.
Of course, amigo. Anytime.
All right, cool.